make
Yeah.
something proper. Yeah. So how did you get to Rectify 11? How did you think of
Okay.
this?
Okay, so uh, it is completely random thing. When I in 2021, when I actually used to like the new a lot. It like before it was called Windows 11, it was just Windows 10, and like you might remember those builds, those very early builds that are like 21343. That build introduced new icons, and I was really impressed by it. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be like different now. It will be very nice. So I used to follow the Insider program a lot at the time, and now in June of 2021 we got the 21986, which was leak, and I was really surprised by the name. Like it's fine. I when I saw the video that when I saw the news, I was like, it has to be fake because Microsoft said in 2015 that okay, the Windows 10 is the last, and now we have Windows 11. So I was really impressed by it. And during the leak, I was like, okay, they are doing something new with the icons and with the design ideas. So I started following it a lot. And okay, in the beginning, I was really impressed by Microsoft in this. And as we move forward, we get other builds to like 22,000.51, and now the thing is, um, near October or September of 2021, my expectation, like, they started crumbling due to it, because I was saying like, okay, they're calling 2000.194 as RTM, even though it's not even close to something something complete that should be RTM. So I was kind of disappointed in Windows 11 in October of 2021. So I started experimenting with Windows 11 a bit, see how much I can do for it. It was already started back with version 1.0, so I thought maybe I can do things with icons and maybe a few things too. So that's how version 1 was born in October of 2021. And the name came from like it. The name was completely random. Honestly, I just thought I should call it Rectify. That's how it started. That's how I came up with it. Yeah.
So I suppose your journey started from Windows 10 and over
Yeah,
the
I could say
last
that.
few years. Yes. So after the Windows 10 came out, did you do any work on Windows 10 or did you like make a leak and then directly jumped onto 11, knowing that the entire design philosophy has changed a lot?
Okay, thing is, it's not about just that. I used to actually not like 10. Like I used to hate 10, and I think I still do for its lack of like. Okay, at the time I thought maybe Windows 11 is gonna be so much different, and it will actually improve a lot of things over Windows 10. And I was like, okay, finally we are getting some good operating system. That's why I was really impressed by Windows 11 beginning. And speaking of which, like I think those builds weren't exactly Windows 10 builds. They were still Windows 11 builds, but they were not publicly called Windows 11. It was called Sun Valley at the time. Like those 21343 inch builds. Yeah, that's the thing. Usually I'm a Windows 7 kind of. I prefer Windows 7 or 8. 10 is it's a mess in my opinion. We'll get to it
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. So I agree that Windows 10 is a huge mess.
Yeah.
So I'm from the era of like Windows 98 and then shifted
Oh,
to Windows
you're older
XP.
than me,
It
I
used
guess. You're older
yeah,
than
I
me, I guess. I
probably.
I am a 2004 born guy, so I have seen Windows XP for the most part. I think I remember seeing Windows 2000 somewhere, but Windows XP for the most part. Then well, Vista and 7, but yeah.
Yeah, so over the years, Windows has shifted up quite a lot. So from 98,
Yeah.
XP, Vista, 7, uh,
Yeah.
the forbidden eras of 8 and 8.1, we don't talk about those. Then 10 and then
Forbidden
11.
era is like it's like Vista development, the Longhorn thing. That's more forbidden. That's hell, in my opinion. Yeah. We'll get to it
I
later.
for me, I suppose hell would be Windows Server. I guess it was
Oh,
2007 or something. It looked like
2008.
Vista, acted like 7, but it was
Oh,
very
yeah,
awkward. And I
I
think so
could agree.
from Windows Server, they took a lot of what they say things to do from it onto Windows 10, and that gave birth to
Yes.
a page. So, knowing that you have a lot of DLL edits and all, because
Oh,
without search, you wouldn't be able to do any UI changes. So, what
yeah.
exactly are the DLLs that you would touch in Rectify level? Are they like something like kernel 32, or would it be something more higher level abstraction layer?
Okay. Look, I never touched current 32, but the DLL that I did modify were, yeah, they were higher level or higher to medium level, because there are certain DLLs that live in the middle of both. So yeah, no, not really kernel 32 or any system level things. Yeah.
So because what happens is, if you do touch the system level DLLs, they would break in updates, I guess, and most of the
Yes.
time, Windows Defender would term it as a virus. So
Okay.
how do you battle Windows Defender?
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question because let me tell you, it was really hard too. In fact, with version 3 and everything, we always tell the user to like disable Defender. That's like, because it's there's no way to do it because Microsoft is like uh, it's kind of strict towards, like, not strict, but like they are kind of annoying in such regards. Like, yeah, so you could say I was never able to deal with Defender until version 4. We will get to it later. But yeah, that's the thing.
So, how many versions of Rectify 11 are there up till date? Considering that you have made and released it since 2021.
I mean, we have three versions and then a beta one for version 4. Yeah.
And what are the changes so far? So I suppose one would be battling Windows Defender. Some would be UI specific. Like
Okay.
how would you
In
describe the journey so far?
Okay. Journey is okay. Okay. It's really, even I have hard time actually processing all that. Like, how did it even happen? So version 4 was like it was there was no team at the time. It was me who did all of it. Maybe a friend of mine, like maybe a friend of mine did a little bit of contribution, but I it was me alone in that in version 4, and then in version 2 I got a few people to work with me, and then with version 3, the switch between version 3 and version 2 and version 3 was like version 2 was a Windows mod ISO based, and the version 3 was supposed to be a transformation pack. And it was really hard in the beginning because I had no programming knowledge. So I had a few friends of mine doing it. We have Misha and Ronak to actually do the programming for me. And I think that's kind of the reason of instability, because those guys did what they could. But obviously, there were like, I'm not saying they're not skilled, but uh, I think as a creator of this, I think I I know how things work a bit more in this regard. So I think that's overall was for instability. And then with version 4, I'm programming it entirely myself in C++ because now I do have programming knowledge. So I expect a lot of changes. First of all, we are not modifying the icons directly. We are actually using Windhoek with resource redirect, because I thought I should to take an advantage of this, because this will this will actually solve the defender problem. and a few other problems that were related to the system patching, you know. So yeah, that's what makes version 4 much more stable than 3.
Right. So this has been a journey from you doing just the UI, then getting open source help from your friends and the community, then you yourself learning programming and then implementing what is there actually in your mind.
Yeah,
So it has been a transformative journey from your end as well as say the
yeah.
project's end.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I had no programming knowledge in 2021 and 2022, and I didn't realize how I can do it now. Yeah, we will get to it in a like later on because it's like its own thing. But yeah,
Yeah. So as of right now, I guess
Mm.
it is an exe installer. How does it work right now? So because you had mentioned that you had gone the ISO route, which is completely wonky, breaks a lot of stuff. As per your site itself, they say that do not touch ISOs. Uh,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
yeah.
no, I mean, okay, it's kind of a controversial thing. Okay, so let me tell you, version 2 is not that bad. We tell people to not use it because it's outdated. If you update it, it might break things. That's the thing. So, and it's not even secure. So that's why we tell people to not use it. But it's not really that bad. In fact, if you compare certain version 3 installers and version 2, then version 2 will be better than them because like transformation packs have their own disadvantages, especially with Windows 11. That every update, every version is like different in many regards. Like it seems as if Microsoft is intentionally trying to break things, which is kind of like in 22H2 they actually hard coded title bar color to be just light for all the non-explorer apps, which is kind of a downer because we need to do some things to bypass it. So it's kind of a so in the beginning the transformation packs were really hard for us. Actually, that I just couldn't work on them. I didn't have any idea on how. So only Misha and Ronak used to do that. Yeah.
Right. So it has been you guys trying to implement something and Microsoft says no, they hard code it. Then you try to
Yeah.
find out some alternative route of doing what you
Yeah.
want to do. So has Microsoft any time like approached you guys or have you guys ever approached Microsoft? So like knowing that there's a huge theming community behind the scenes, like they want to do something. Like in Linux you can change anything on KDE if you want. You can
Yeah.
change the strings, you can do it yourself, whatever the way you want. So have you ever like approached Microsoft and said like, hey, we want to do something, let us do it, don't hard code it, don't make it hard for us.
No, because look, it seems like okay. I think Microsoft is the type of company that has. I think they have people more skilled than me, more skilled than any of us. They have them in a large amount. They have a really skilled employee. Like they have really skilled employees and the problem is like they don't want to do all this. It's not even about the ability to do it. They definitely have the ability to do all what we are doing, even better than us. But they just don't want to do it. That's my complaint. So even if we reach out to them, there is no point. And secondly, I there is some suspicion that they did take our assets from because I remember that the was I think in 23 H2 or something they have in their visual style they have toolbar textures that are similar to Rectify 11 for the high DPI uh, version. So I do have a suspicion that they are aware and might use our assets. Which okay, my attitude towards this is like I I will I will happily accept it if Microsoft, without even telling me, they just use our thing. I will be happy if they do it, honestly. I would be more than happy if they do it. Like, yeah, that's the thing.
So
I do
you
have.
are happy like they use your stuff like without any
Yeah,
credits or any of the sort because it's
yeah,
open
you
source.
can. I mean, Microsoft can. I mean, not. I'm not saying anyone can, but if Microsoft does want to use my stuff or our stuff, just do it. Without even creating. I don't need money. I don't because honestly, in the back of my mind, I would be happy knowing that okay, my effort actually made it to Microsoft, which is much bigger than any of it. Yeah.
So how has the Windows modding community been like towards Rectify 11? How is your view on them? It's kind of a
Okay.
sensitive topic, I suppose so, because each community is
Yeah.
like use a mod, that guy is bad. Use don't use this thing, use that. So
Yeah.
how would you
Okay, that's okay. So that's a nice question. Uh, okay, let me tell you. Like first of all, I personally keep Rectify 11 community excluded from rest of modding community. First of all, that's the thing because the because I will explain it. So my experience in modding community has not been good. I am gonna tell you like the actual modding community. Like, I did make a few friends uh, in this, but like I think the people that are on the top of the modding community are like okay. Thing is, we are all doing this because we want to. We want to make. We want to be happier. We want to just experiment with things. It's just a passion thing. We are not really making some really big projects or like something that is really professional or anything. That's the reality of it. But people really treat the people in Windows modding community really treat it as it's something really serious and like you need to like give your 100% and like you know push towards it and compete, which I think that's a problem with the community. They really treat this as like competition or like something to really push and not do what makes you feel better. That's the thing that they disregard this aspect, in my opinion. That is why I actually set Rectify 11 apart from the rest of the modding community. Yeah.
That's a really good attitude. Like, I am personally within the same boat as someone from the Android
Oh,
community. Our Android custom ROMs are always like in competition with each other. It's like we who has the most customization, but not who has the
yeah,
more quality. And
that's true.
that's something that gets on everyone's nerves because in the end there is no real good project. Everyone is kind of the same. They are all the same color, same
I get
projects
it.
with no real differentiating quality
Yeah.
between them. So that's a
I
really good
mean the
attitude.
yeah, I mean okay, if and the secondly if you just focus on what you are doing, like as in if you do what makes you feel happier, to to embrace the randomness, it will get somewhere eventually. Like if you are like not having this toxic competition and just doing it for the sake of doing it, I think I personally think that's the correct way of doing the thing. Rectify 11, I never even knew if that I will get 7,000 honestly. I just did what I wanted to do and yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so my next question would be slightly off topic, I suppose, like not exactly Rectify 11, but what
Oh,
other projects are you right now working on?
yeah, that's okay. I'm glad you asked it. Okay. So one of them is like MSX02, which is essentially recreating the one of the old Longhorn concepts from 2002. I think I think if I think Microsoft should have stuck to this concept for Longhorn because I personally think that this this concept really fits Longhorn as an operating system. the UX is quite nice, and it doesn't really seem that different from Windows XP. So it would really be a really smooth transition, and I'm doing it in such a way that I think the mistakes that I actually did was to use Avalon for the shell, or .NET for the shell, which is a terrible idea. So I'm basically doing something that would that would let's see, that would actually simulate a reality where Microsoft did make those mistakes and just stick to the Win32 C++ backend for everything. Because yeah, most of the problems were because of .NET. Yeah. So that's MSX02. It's essentially like recreating Plex demo as well. So that's one of them. And then I have another project that it's not really started, but I just have a mocker for it. So it's called Creative, where the A is replaced by 8, by the way. The creative mode is essentially about what if Windows 8 was actually good, and it actually stuck to the Steven Sinofsky's design from 2010. These are the other two projects. And then, if I don't know if it counts, but in my college, I'm doing a similar project too. So yeah, that's the thing.
So you're juggling about 3 or 4 projects side by side, along with
I
Rectify
could say
level.
that. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any timeline for each of these projects? Something fixed, or do you just go with the flow? How is the development cycle with each of these projects?
Okay, it's kind of a mix of things. Okay, there is do what I feel to, but then I also plan things. Or okay, I do have long term. I do make long term plans, but short term is like do what I feel at the time. So with Plex, I'm making sidebar currently. I did post a video in Rectify 11.2 demonstrating it. Usually when I do make these modes, I I actually lay down what to do first. Like, okay, first the basic thing is to make the theme itself. When the theme is done, I would do the UI layout for the shell, and after that, I would do icons, and then I would do other programs like logon screen and like sidebar if necessary. And when that is done, I would do like the apps that are need to be included, like maybe MS Paint, customize MS Paint or Notepad or whatever it is, and then make the setup and the out of box experience. That's my overall plan with the the side projects. You know. Yeah.
So all of your projects are mainly themed around Microsoft Windows. Did
Yeah.
you ever assume or think that you might culminate all of this into like a single project or something like that?
Not really, because they are different ideas. They were like whenever I start them, I get this random thought of like, what if something was made in some way. So I make some mockups in Figma about that, and then I start implementing. And when I make the mockups, I essentially think of how can we make it as progressive as possible. Like progressive software is like a new version is released and people don't want to switch to the older version. That's what makes the thing progressive, I think. So yeah, as I want things to be as progressive as they can. So the yeah, that's my thought process towards it.
So all of your projects are mainly passion projects, would you say?
Yeah,
Uh, as someone in the Android community, I've seen a lot of good developers. They come, they go. Mainly,
yeah,
everything is driven by either passion or the hope of something striking big. Uh, Do you
Right.
think that you would continue the projects as this is until you're out of passion, or do you hope that one day it might strike big, something like Microsoft approaches you? How do you see your projects, including Rectify 11, within the next 4 or 5 years?
Okay, that's a nice question. My passion doesn't really burn out regarding this, because okay, what if I tell you that this what I'm doing right now is the resultant of whatever I used to do when I was like 12-year old. The passion really started in when I was actually a 12-year-old child. It's going even now, so I will not really burn out. And As of Rectify 11 in 4 or 5 years, it's really hard to say because um, uh, it's, okay, let me think of it. The I don't really think I would approach Microsoft because there's no point in doing it. I'm sure they know what they're doing. They just don't want to do all whatever we are doing. So there's no point in approaching them. And I think Rectify 11 should become more let's see, more feature rich, and a lot of things like we for version 6 we are planning our own desktop UI, which which would be really nice. Um, so yeah, I think you can expect a lot more customizations with Rectify 11. You know, yeah,
That's nice to hear. So I suppose it's more of a hobby than a passion, and some
for that.
hobbies never die. Some hobbies never die, they
I
just continue
mean,
on lifelong.
the thing is, this hobby taught me programming, which is my passion. So, so let's say if I do want to get a job somewhere, so with Rectify, I want to actually know a decent amount of programming. I can make decent apps in C++, um, and I know designing too. So it is both passion and the hobby in for me. Uh,
Yeah, that's like really nice because
mm,
some hobbies they would just be one domain oriented, and you went from
right?
designing to programming, and now programming was your passion. You understand programming much better. Uh,
Yeah.
that is so there are not a lot of hobbies which deviate from one perspective or the other. It's really good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, the how my hobbies or passion shift from one another, it's like really complex. When I was 12, it started with a completely different thing. It transformed into something else and then something else and so on. Essentially, it's the randomness that often leads me into a lot of meaningful things, which is kind of intriguing in my opinion.
my next question would be something which is
Okay.
probably something you have been hearing on your server a lot, probably asked by the community a lot. When is
Yeah,
version 4 coming out?
good question. I mean, beta 2 is like, it's only one thing is holding me back, and I think within a week or two, you could see beta 2, and I really think it should be most likely by the middle, like before the middle of this year. It should be released. Honestly, I really hope because because this time I rewrote the framework. The overall framework is made in such a way that if we need to add things, it's really easy. Just move one file and edit a text file, and that's it. That's how we add or remove components from Rectify. And so I really think that once beta 2 is done, I think things will be really quick, because most of the things will be done in beta 2. Everything after that is like more of add-ons, you know. Yeah.
Right, so we are getting to the end of the podcast right now. Just a few more questions,
Oh,
and we can roll this up. Right. So,
right.
ju- what other hobbies would you pursue, says, other than designing and Rectify 11?
Okay, I do play guitar. I have it with me like in my room. So I've been playing guitar for a long time. I mean, not long time, but you could say an year. Although I used to play in school too. Yeah, I really like playing guitar. I think I really like expressing myself through it. Yeah, it's in electric, by the way.
Great, nice. So you are more
Yeah,
of an arts-oriented person, I suppose.
that too.
Great. By chance, do you play guitar professionally? As in, do you have great certifications, or do you just like get a guitar
No,
and then find a song and just ring it out?
yeah, final song and some I do sometimes write some pieces like I do sometimes like express my own ideas and make my own pieces through it. But yeah, I do like for the most part till now I grab some mostly Metallica songs because I really like Metallica's like, their riffs are more, really catchy. So those guys are like riff masters in my mind. So
Something
I
like
really learn their
Deep Purple and Eagles, I suppose.
okay. Deep Purple is they are rock bands. Metal bands are like metal is often more complex, and their riffs are really they're really technical, more technical. I, I do recommend you to check out Metallica, especially their first five albums. They're really amazing. Yeah. A lot of their
I'll
songs
I'll
are emotional, by the way.
I'll be
Even though
putting them on Spotify, I guess.
yeah, like uh, there a lot of theirs, especially in second, third, and fourth and fifth album, the songs are really emotional. Even though they're metal, they actually they're something that you can relate to. I think that's the best part about them. There's a
How many
Metallica
albums
song
do they
for
have?
every mood. Yeah, that's the thing.
How many albums are there?
In total, they have I don't know. I think
Right. So any chance
yeah,
that, yeah, we might hear about one or two pieces coming up in Rectify 11 version 4,
like
originals by you, of course.
oh yeah. I mean, I don't really sing. I can make riffs and like I could make instrumental once. I in fact I do have a later on, but yeah, you could definitely see a few of them, especially in next month because now my overall technique and the music theory is has really improved. You know.
Great. Hope to see more pieces from you then. Uh, to end the
Yeah.
discussion,
Hmm.
let's ask one last question.
Okay.
Anything for the community at large. Anything you would like to say?
I mean, for Rectify 11 community, I I'm really proud of my community. Honestly, now I, there was a time I used to really be upset at how my community is back in 2023. I wasn't really doing well in 20. Maybe you guys know it. Um, uh, but now these people have proven to be really nice people. Like if you are in my server and you are like you talk to people like it's, they're like, a lot like most of them are like really nice people, and I love all of them, and like yeah, I'm really proud of whatever I have, whatever I have in this server in Rectify 11. And I think that's the best part about it. And what I really like is like you can express yourself too much in this server, in my server. Even I do it a lot, and people will actually support you, and they will give you as advices. They will, yeah, they will talk to you. They will make you feel better, and I think that's the best part about it. And you know that's why I'm not really strict with the rules, because I know that for any, like, I know